Chapter 24. True. All perspectives.
Ipia's perspective. I pulled Jasmine down to City Hall, then into the building. King's been attacking for a few hours, so I wasn't surprised to find the building empty. Here, I heard Jasmine say. She handed me a Bluetooth earpiece, so we can stay in touch with Michelle. She and I ran up the stairs to the west side door. We both put an earpiece in, then walked through the door. Then I walked through the door. Well, hello there. King spun around to face me, shocked. Ipia? What are you doing here? Figured you need help. After all, the quad was a force to be reckoned with. I've been suffocating you guys for so long. You've taken the reins, and look what you've accomplished. I want to help, I explained. King opened his mouth to speak, but Kim ran over, whispering something in his ear. King smiled and wrapped his arm around my shoulder. Ah, of course. He lowered his voice. What are you doing? Making sure everyone knows I haven't turned my back on evil. I smirked. Maybe you could explain what this does? Why would I? He started before being elbowed in the side by Kim. I mean, of course. King and Kim stepped forward. Left pocket, I heard Jasmine whisper through the earpiece. I slowly and cautiously stepped next to King, reaching into his pocket. Chiwaria's perspective. I watched Ipia converse with King and Kim, betraying our trust in front of us. Angrily, I went to yell at her, but Hyena covered my mouth. He pointed over to the rooftop door, which was a crack open. Jasmine! I saw her through the crack, concentrating on something. Following her gaze, I looked back at Ipia, realizing she was attempting to get the keys while Jasmine was keeping it from jingling. Jasmine's perspective. As I concentrated, I felt fatigue wash over me, but I refused to let that best me, forcing myself to keep concentrating. There was one thing still bothering me. Where is Karo? I noticed Ipia's hands move away, her hands clasped tightly around the keys. Cut the power, I whispered. Ipia's perspective. I had the keys, but I was still pretending to listen to King's rant. All of a sudden, the whole building went dark. With it being a new moon tonight, the area was almost pitch black. Well, what now? King grumbled. Just have to wait on the emergency power to kick in a couple minutes. Kim sighed. I put my hands behind my back and slowly opened my hand, trying not to make a noise. I tensed up as I felt the keys slip from my hand, but tried not to panic. Jasmine's perspective. I caught the keys from my powers only inches from the ground, trying to concentrate more than panic. Slowly, I moved the keys low to the ground from Ipia to the cage, trying to avoid being seen. I winced a few times as I felt my energy draining, but kept a hold on the keys the whole time. I moved the keys upward, then quickly pushed the keys into the lock and turned it, opening the cage. Chiwaria's perspective. I pushed the door open, wincing as an electric shock went through my hand. The power came on as we walked out of the cage. Finally. King sighed in relief. We can get back to what we were doing. Working on. I don't think so, I responded. Kim, Ipia, and King spun around. How did... King frantically searched for his pockets as Ipia, facing King, slowly backed up towards us. He looked at Ipia. You took the key. No. How did the key get... He trailed off. Immortal. She's here somewhere. No! I heard Ipia blurted out. We heard a scream come from the rooftop doorway, followed by Karo dragging Jasmine into view. Jasmine's perspective. My heart beat as heavily as Karo held one of my arms tightly. There you are. King smiled evilly. Thought you could make a fool out of me. Karo, get rid of her. But, I heard Karo protest. Now! Karo didn't move, so I did. Twisting my body back, I used my free arm to elbow him in the stomach. As soon as he let go, I dashed back into the door. Juaria's perspective.
Are you kidding me?
King mumbled before yelling,
Go after her!
To my surprise, Karo hesitated, not moving a muscle.
Oh my fucking gods, I'll go!
Kim yelled, shouldering past Karo through the rooftop doorway.
No, you don't!
Ipia yelled, running after her. Hyena, I called. After them. He dashed through the door as well. Jasmine's perspective. I ran up the staircase to the east side of the roof, accidentally dropping the earpiece on the way up. Turning around, I saw Kim smirking at me at the bottom of the stairs, holding a metal pipe. You've been a very troublesome mortal. She stepped on the earpiece, crushing it. Time to get rid of the problem. I gasped, running through the door. I ran all the way to the pillars, hiding behind one. Glancing out from behind it, I saw Kim put the metal pipe under the door, jamming it. Where are you? She called slowly and hauntingly. My heart raced. I was terrified. Focusing, I kept my breathing quiet, trying to calm my nerves. Ipia's perspective. I ran up the stairs to the east side of the roof and pushed on the door, but it didn't budge. What? These doors don't lock? Ipia! I heard someone call. Turning around, I came face to face with Hyena.
Where are Kim and the mortal?
Jazz and Kim are on the roof. The door is stuck, though. I began ramming my shoulder into the door repeatedly. I need to make sure Kim doesn't get to her. I glanced at Hyena really quickly, noticing him thinking, but not helping. Suddenly, he pulled me down a few steps, kneeling down to glance under the door. What the? I started.
There,
he exclaimed.
There's something blocking the door.
He stood up.
We passed a room doing renovations. Maybe there's something in there that can help us unblock the door.
We both heard a blood-curdling scream from Jazz through the door.
Then let's hurry, Hyena.
Juaria's perspective. I flew around, maneuvering around to avoid the laser shots from King, while Puntheria attempted to dodge Karo, who was now a giant mouth. Flying up behind King, I grabbed his arm, pulling him away from the laser. He turned around to punch me in the face, dazing me. A sharp pain went up my back as King pulled on my leg. I think he's attempting to tear it off. Juaria! Puntheria yelled. She jumped on top of the laser, jumping at King to knock him off of me. He attempted to hold onto my wing, but failed, pulling some feathers out. I noticed, through blurred vision, Karo knocked out at the bottom of the laser with a bloody nose. Looking over at Puntheria, I watched her knock King out. Hyena might be strong and fast, but Puntheria was a little stronger. I winced as the full effect from the pain set in, causing me to fall forward, then fall onto my stomach. Looking around a little, I noticed Puntheria run towards me, then kneel down. Tell me what hurts, she urged. My wing. I can barely feel it, I breathed. I feel dizzy. She grabbed my arm. We need to get you to the Godworld's infirmary. I pushed her hand away. Put Karo and King in jail first. Jasmine's perspective. I backed up from the pillar towards the edge of the roof. Kim smirked at me, leaning on one of the pillars. Scream all you want. No one's going to be able to save you. I clenched my fist, scolding myself silently for my stupidity. I helped save them. They'll save me. My dear, naive child. They've probably fallen for our trap. Kim laughed evilly. Trap? I asked nervously. We never expected them to stay in that cage. I, at least, anticipated Ipia's involvement. Karo's job was to lure Ipia and Hyena away. When he couldn't do it, I did, switching places with him in a plan. We knew attacking you would lure Ipia. Juaria always sends Hyena to chase someone. Phase 2 was for King to find a way to disable Juaria from flying. Knowing her, she always cares more about the mission than herself. But Theria can only take care of one immortal at a time. Our plan wasn't to trap them. My eyes widened. It was to divide them so they can't help each other. She grabbed my wrist. You being here helped make that plan easier. I grabbed her hand that was holding my wrist with my free hand. You didn't become an immortal because you chose to, I started, changing the subject. It was because of King. There's got to be good in you, a part of you that remembers. She hesitated, then smirked, pulling me close to her. Who do you think let King out of the land of immortals for his plan? He made me more evil. My mom cast a spell, making me and all other fully evil gods into immortals. I stared into her eyes. You let him out because of love. She tightened her grip on my wrist, pulled me into the air, then held me over the edge of the building. I let him out because I'm as evil as he is. I heard the door to the roof open. Looking over, I saw Epia and Hyena come into view. Jasmine! Epia yelled. Wait, guys, I started. Goodbye, Kim said, letting go of my wrist. I screamed, terrified, then grabbed a windowsill on the highest level. I hyperventilated, looking down. City Hall is 20 stories high. I fall. I'm dead. Shiwaria's perspective. Quintheria had taken Karo down to the police, but she still hadn't returned. What was taking her so long? I attempted to sit up, wincing at the pain between my wing and my back. A huge force caused me to lay back down. King was now on top of me. Miss me? He grabbed my neck tightly, choking me. I don't know what I wonder more. How you'll manage without Quintheria, or how she'll manage without you. I took short breaths, attempting to breathe, panicking. He moved forward, putting a knee on each wrist. How would the world survive without their pure goddess of light? That's right, I am the goddess of light. I've been so caught up with the team, I've forgotten that I still have powers. My powers are harder to use at night, but not impossible. I closed my eyes, concentrating, then opened them. To me, nothing changed except for the light illuminating against the back wall. From practice, though, I knew, to King, my eyes looked like two flashlights. Concentrating, I brightened the lights until he looked away. Using this to my advantage, I buckled my legs under him, then used my legs to push his stomach and throw him off of me. I rolled away from him, still laying down, wincing at the excruciating pain I was in. Juwaria! I heard from the doorway. I looked over to see Quintheria, breathing heavily, with cuts and bite marks all over her arms and face, standing in the doorway. Her white t-shirt had some blood stains. We looked over as we heard King laugh evilly. Carl's bites are poisonous. By now, you probably feel the poison spreading. I'm really curious about what this world will do without the goddess of life, watching over everyone's lifelines. Yeah, I am the goddess of life. I'm also the goddess that's not stupid enough to come to a fight with a poisonous immortal and not have a cure to said poison. She responded. You get a vision that your life would be in danger. King smirked. Not a surprise. Expect nothing less. She walked over to him, limping. Oh, what are you going to do? He mocked. Easy. My leg doesn't actually hurt. She smirked and roundhouse kicked him in the face, knocking him out. Never get too cocky. I smiled weakly. Thank you. I looked at King. Get him to the police. Epia's perspective. Jasmine! I yelled, running towards the edge of the roof. Epia, wait! Hyena called after me. Kim stepped in front of me, kicked me in the stomach, and sent me flying. Hyena caught me, keeping me from falling. I'm okay! I heard Jasmine call from over the ledge. I clenched my fists. She can't hold on forever, and Kim knows that. Hyena stayed silent for a while. Save her. He charged forward, pulling on Kim's arm, throwing her to the ground. He's crazy. I ran over to the edge of the roof, looked down, and fell to my knees. Jasmine was holding on to a windowsill, her left arm fully laying on it, trying to pull herself up. That arm slipped off, causing her to scream as she tried to hold on for dear life with her other hand. Hang on, Jess! I yelled. I am! She screamed, terrified. I climbed down slowly, holding onto the side of the roof. Aiming it correctly, I let go, landing gracefully on the windowsill to the left of her. Well, her left. Slowly and carefully, I crouched down, extending my left arm out to her. Grab my hand, I instructed. Are you crazy? She yelled. Just trust me. She forced herself to push her left arm above her head. As soon as she was in reach, I yanked her up, pulling her up to the sill I was on, both of us now standing. I put my arm across her collarbone, steadying her so she didn't fall. The window's locked, she informed me. With how often City Hall is attacked, the glass that's installed can't even be broken by a god. Okay, I've got a plan. I concentrated on Jasmine, forcing myself not to freak out. I kneeled down slowly again, then wrapped my arm around her legs. I'm going to lift you up. As soon as you can, grab the edge of the roof and pull yourself up. I can't, she panicked. Yes, you can. I tightened my grip around her legs, lifting her into the air. As instructed, she grabbed the edge of the roof. My heart was racing, but she was already panicking. Showing I was also scared would only make things worse. I let go of her legs and pushed on her feet, trying to help her pull herself up. I could feel her struggling, but there wasn't much I could do. Suddenly, in an instant, her feet were ripped away from me and her weight was removed. I looked up to see Hyena peering over. Need a hand? He asked. I was relieved. He came at just the right moment. He climbed down, holding on top of the roof with one hand and extending the other hand out to me. I lifted up my toes, attempting to reach for his hand. My balance hobbled, causing me to slip and fall backwards off of the windowsill.
Juaria's perspective. Lyntharia let me lean on her as we walked out of City Hall.
I'm bringing you straight to the God world,
she commanded. I nodded. We both froze and turned around when we heard screaming. Immediately, I stopped leaning on Lyntharia, stepping forward, stretching my wings, wincing a little at the pain, seeing that it was Epia falling.
Juaria, no. Your wing is too hurt. You'll damage it more,
Lyntharia yelled. She is not allowed in the God world for the infirmary like I am. Plus, I paused and looked at her. She's our sister. I won't let anything happen to her. I clenched my fist, turned away, and took off fast towards Epia. I'm not going to fail my sister again. My wing was screaming in pain, but Epia was within 12 feet from the ground. Speeding up, I managed to catch her right before she hit the ground. I went to fly up so I could find an easier way to land, but catching Epia was put too much stress on me. Feeling my wing bone pop out of its socket on the bad side, I used my good wing to wrap it around Epia, protecting her as I landed on my back. Chapter 25, Aftermath, Epia's Perspective. As Juaria landed, her grip on me slipped, causing me to roll off to the side of her. I scrambled upward, sitting on my knees, grabbing her arm.
Juaria, I yelled. What happened? What did you do?
Wing, I heard her say faintly. I carefully checked on her wings, including where they connect on her back. Moving my hand from her back, I saw the color of crimson on part of that hand. I gasped. Is this injury from trying to save me? I teared up. I'm so sorry. Kim tried to drop Jazz off of the roof and I saved her, and Hyena tried catching me, but... I hyperventilated. No, I heard her start. It's not... Her face twisted in pain. Juaria! I heard someone call from behind us. Turning my head, I noticed Lyntharia running up behind us. Lyntharia, I started. She's hurt, I know. She knelt down next to me. King attempted to rip her wing off. It's a long story, but I could probably just skip to the point where she wanted to save you, despite a huge risk with her wing in pain. She felt Juaria's wing lightly. This wing bone is popped out of its socket. Hold on. Lyntharia pushed up on the wing, popping it back into place, causing Juaria to scream in pain.
What happened?
We heard from behind us. I looked behind me to see Hyena running up. Jasmine, who was clearly out of breath, jogged up behind him. She has a possible stress fracture in the center of her wing. I'd need to x-ray it to be sure. She will also need stitches on her back. King did pull her wing off partially. Lyntharia stood up. Hyena, can I talk to you in private for a sec? They walked out of earshot from us. Jasmine sat down on the ground next to me. She had this happen to her and she still saved me. I stared blankly at Juaria, who was now passed out. She loves you, Jasmine told me. You two are sisters, no matter how different you are. She risked an injury to save you. I hugged her, just like I risked an injury to save you. She sighed and smiled weakly. Because of anger, I've tried to be someone I'm not. I'm not strong. I'm not brave. What are you talking about? I asked her. You risked jail to break me out of it, knocked out the guard, fought against King and Kim when I was weak, and helped me save my siblings, knowing very well that there were 3 immortals who would kill you on the spot if they found you. I think brave and strong does define you, but also smart and strategic. She laughed weakly. Thanks. You know, evil is not a good way to define you. When I think of you, I think strong, courageous, smart, tough, and caring. You might have some evil there, but who doesn't? Everyone is capable of good and evil. Except immortals, I mumbled. Even immortals, she corrected. Immortals are mostly gods who lost themselves in evil. Although it's never happened, it's not proven impossible for an immortal to turn away from evil. I noticed that with Kim. She dropped you off of the roof, I exclaimed. She also hesitated before grabbing me, she yelled back. We stayed silent, not knowing what to say. After a while, I noticed Pantheria and Hyena walk back towards us. I will be bringing Jawaria to the Godworld Infirmary. Hyena will be filling you in with a few things we decided on. Pantheria informed us. She threw a bright golden key in front of her. Mid-air, the key transformed into a white energy ball that was about the size of Pantheria. If I or any immortals attempted to go in, we would be pushed back by an invisible barrier. If any mortal walked in without a god giving them a pass, they would be instantly vaporized. We all watched Pantheria drag Jawaria through the portal before it closed. Hyena turned to us. Well, time to inform you. Epia, Pantheria and I have agreed to back up Jawaria in talking to Mom about letting you back into the God world and explaining you the truth behind Kar's murder. My eyes widened. They trust me enough to do that? This is all I've ever wanted. Everyone to know the truth, everyone to listen. Why, then, does my heart no longer long for that? I looked over at Jasmine, who was looking down, smiling sadly. Maybe... I looked down and sighed. I'm flattered and surprised that you trust me that much. I looked back at him, but I'm going to decline that offer. I noticed out of the corner of my eye Jasmine's head jolted up immediately. I have done a lot more bad than just Kar's death in the past 10,000 years. I know for a fact that I don't want to be evil, but you never know what the future holds. That prophecy predicted that Kim and I would become evil. Although it never said that evil was permanent, you know Mom will use that as an excuse. I paused for a moment, then looked at Jasmine, who was already looking at me. Plus, I have a new sister in Karth that will need me. Jasmine smiled, tearing up, then hugged me. I hugged her back. Hyena smiled. Even when I worked for you, all I've ever wanted was to see you truly happy. Not faking your happiness by pretending to like evil. I let go of Jasmine and chuckled. Hyena took a deep breath and turned to Jasmine. The Syara team's job is to protect all mortals, but you are a very unique mortal, and King knows that. Chances are you pissed him off, so to avoid what happened with King and Kim at your house... He handed her a sheet of paper. Here's mine, Pantheria, and Jawaria's phone numbers. These are for emergencies only. He looked back and forth between Epia and I. Who turned off the power if both of you were on the roof? My best friend, Michelle. She's pretty tech-savvy. Even taught herself how to hack, Jasmine responded. He nodded. We figured there was someone else involved. He handed Jasmine a card. Please, give this to her, but don't read it. It's just a thank you card for her services. I narrowed my eyes at Hyena. He was extremely good at lying, but that's because he knows my tricks for lying. Excuse us, Jasmine, I said, dragging Hyena by the arm out of the earshot. That's not just a thank you card. What is it really? I asked, crossing my arms. We were just interested in learning more about her skills, Hyena responded. I rolled my eyes. Fine, don't tell me. But if this is something that puts her in danger, it won't, he responded. And that's a promise.